How's it going, everybody? It's your boy Mike from Seattle. Today I want to talk to you about mentors, because a lot of people have asked me on my YouTube channel, hey man, how do I find a mentor? Or they message me in my Instagram DMs, will you mentor me? Will you help me? And as I always say in my videos, and I put in the description the link to my Instagram, I'm always willing and happy to answer any questions I can. You can message me on Instagram, no problem. But I want to talk specifically about my mentors through life, and I've had a few. My mentor in real estate, Mark, actually just started his own YouTube channel and released his very first video today. I'm gonna put the link to his channel in the description because a lot of people ask me who he is, and I've referenced him in my channel before, always affectionately as Obi Mark Kenobi, the man, the myth, the legend. So please go find his channel, watch it, encourage him, because he's an extremely knowledgeable individual who has done nothing but help me over the last several years, and I can honestly say would not be where I am right now if it wasn't for his guidance and his reassurance and his help, which are really the most important reasons to have a mentor. So hopefully we can get into that in a minute here. So, unlike Ty Lopez, Mr. Here in My Garage.
So do you need a mentor? People lie, so don't listen to what I say. Do the research for yourself.
Who's going to encourage you to find a mentor, and by finding a mentor, he means send him a bunch of money.
It's very easy.
Subscribe to his masterclass special private group, and then he will charge you money to give you stuff you could have found for free. How do you find an actual mentor? How do you find somebody who cares about you enough to teach you? Right? Now, I want to talk about mentors in my life. I'm going to use one from my job as a police officer. So there's somebody that has really helped me get to where I'm at in my career, helped me be better as a law enforcement officer, opened doors for me, trained me, taught me. Really just taken the time out of his own life to improve me as a human being and as an officer and as a candidate for promotion for different types of specialty positions. So I want to talk about how I met this individual and how I think he became interested enough in me to actually take me under his wing and help. So without giving names or specifics or anything like that, I'm going to give you a little bit of a background on him. So he's one of the most tenured officers in our entire department of over 1,300 officers, right? He's got 35 plus years on. One of the most well-respected, knowledgeable detectives and sergeants in the agency. Extremely talented. The longest serving member of our SWAT team ever. 25 plus years out of the 41 years that our teams existed. He's extremely smart and extremely talented individual. And I met him when I was still just a cadet in the academy, not a commissioned officer yet. He came out to our class, 40 different people, and he just gave a presentation on some of the different things that he does with different detective groups. Again, I'm trying to stay not too specific, but and he mentioned he was on the SWAT team, and he mentioned his resume and stuff like that while he was talking to us, and I was extremely interested to do that type of police work, detective work, and work for the SWAT team. And so I spoke with him after the class was over, and I was like, hey, I'm interested in these things. And he said, okay, that's good. Why don't you send me a follow-up email? So a few days later, I send him a follow-up email saying, hey, I'm interested in this stuff. You would come out and give a presentation to us. I want to know what I should do to get myself ready to potentially one day apply to be on the SWAT team and one day apply to be a detective. Now, he sent me an email back, and it seemed like a canned response, and I'm sure it was. And that's not a knock against him, but I'm sure many people come to him all the time and say, I'm interested in this thing and I'm interested in that thing. Just like people say, I'm interested in investing in real estate, and I'll spend 10 minutes writing a great response to them with all of this information, but then they don't listen to it, they don't ever do anything, and I never hear from them again. So I'm not against his canned response or anything like that, but I get the response back from him. And the advice that he gave me was, here's what you need to do. If you're interested, you need to make sure that when you get to your detachment, when you become a commissioned officer, you need to be the hardest working person in your detachment. You want to be one of the top producers in your entire district, which is, about 150 different officers for me. You want to be one of the top producers, hardworking, responding to the most collisions, out there apprehending the most DUI drivers. You want to make sure that you are obviously on time, volunteering for work, going the extra distance, getting great job performance analysis ratings from your supervisor. You want the people in your detachment to recognize you as a team player and like you. You need to go do these things. Be the #1 guy for 2 years straight. After 2 years, then you can put into cross training. For those of you who don't know what that is, in the law enforcement world, when you want to potentially move into a specialty position, K9, bomb squad, any of these other types of specialty positions that police departments have, you cross-train with them typically before you do. That means that you submit a memo and you say, hey, I would like to go out there and do some training with these guys, shadow one of the individuals in this job for a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months, so I can see what it's like and get a little bit of knowledge and experience under my belt so that hopefully I can get that position. So I was like, perfect. I busted my butt for 2 years, and I didn't pester him, I didn't bother him, I didn't reconnect with him. For 2 years, I put my freaking shoulder to the wheel, and I worked as hard as I could. The point that I'm trying to make here is that an individual gave me some advice, and I internalized that advice, and I really thought about it hard, and I did my best to do exactly what he told me to do. I didn't complain, I didn't have any excuses, I didn't argue with him, I didn't say I'm going to do things my own way because that seems too difficult. I said, this is an individual who is extremely experienced in the field that I would like to move into. And I'm going to take his word as gospel and do everything that he has recommended I do to the best of my ability. And then once I've completed it, I'm going to go back to him and say, this is where I'm at. What can I do next? So that's what I did. At that point, he said, perfect. Put into cross-train with me. So I did, and I submitted a memo to cross-train, which of course was approved because my supervisor appreciated all the hard work that I'd been doing. He's like, yeah, get on over there. So then he took me under his wing from that point, and he really started to just mold me into a good candidate for both the SWAT team and to hopefully make detective one day, which I'm not yet, but I have a lot more experience than an average officer does who has not done this type of training. So he brought me on under his wing. I began to help him with big cases, big federal cases, big state cases. And he just really took the time one-on-one to help me at every opportunity that he possibly could. And he calls in and checks on me to this day regularly. How do I convince this individual, right? And it wasn't some like game or manipulation to convince him to take interest in me. The advice that I would give you, if you want to find a mentor, what you first have to do is start working at what you want, right? I'm interested in being a detective, being on the SWAT team. So first I took the initiative to get hired. I tried my best to be the best cadet I could. And then when I met him, he said, hey, this is what you can do. And I internalized it and worked as hard as I could at doing that to prove that I was taking what he said seriously, to show him an investment of his time, energy, and effort in me would not be a waste. And now he gets the opportunity to have someone assist him who thinks like he does, goes by the same operating playbook that he uses. I can interchange with him, not to suggest that I'm nearly as talented or skilled as him. By no means am I anywhere close, but if he needs a case started or looked over, he knows I taught this kid exactly what I would do. So I'm going to give him the paperwork. He's going to look over it for me, get it 90% of the way done, send it to me for approval, and I can save myself some time. So can you be an investment that has returns for a potential mentor? Are you somebody who actually will benefit the person you would like to be mentored by? If you don't bring something to the table and you're just a floundering fish like somebody help me, nobody's going to want to help you. People want to be a part of success. They want to be a part of your story, and they will happily help you if they can see that you're putting in the effort and energy yourself. So then how does that translate to real estate? Now again, sort of similar, very similar. I met my mentor, Mark. And Mark, who again just started his own YouTube channel, which I'll put the link in the description below. Please check it out. He's fresh on YouTube. Invaluable knowledge. I mean, more knowledgeable, down-to-earth, good guy, was in the military, was then a police officer, never made more than like 60 grand in a year, but he's now worth millions of dollars for his net worth, has 25 rentals, just an extremely knowledgeable, good, kind-hearted person who will genuinely take pleasure in helping you. And I'm not the only person he mentors. We have a mastermind group with about 10 of us, and really he's the ringleader of the group, and he pushes all of us to be better, and he helps us be better, and he checks in with us, and he's constantly making sure that we are tracking what we're doing and assessing ourselves and not falling by the wayside. There's been times when I've been distracted by work or by life, by my son, all these different things, and you know, as much as I'm focused on real estate, I kind of have to focus on other things, and he understands that, but he's still always, you know, every couple of weeks sending me a message, checking in with me on either our WhatsApp chat or a text message or an email. What are you thinking about this? What's your next move? What's your next play? Don't get delayed too long. You don't want to fall behind. And that level of caring about you as the mentee, as the individual who needs the coaching, that's very hard to find someone who's going to care that much about you. So how did I trick Mark into actually thinking I was someone successful? Well, as I mentioned before on my channel, the way that we met, Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, way back before he was popular. He's at like 18,000 subscribers now. I subscribed to him back when he had less than 2,000. He saw, we were in a similar Facebook group, a real estate investing Facebook group. I think it was actually Graham Stephan's Facebook group. He saw that I posted, hey, I just bought my first duplex. It was a picture of me holding a key. And Michael Zuber saw that. He asked if I wanted to be interviewed on his YouTube channel. And I had one with like 200 subscribers and he had one with 2,000 subscribers. And I said, sure, why not, man? And you can find that interview on my channel still to this day or on his channel. And while he was interviewing me, I was like literally his second or third ever interview that he did with someone else. Well, the next day he interviewed Mark, and I watched Mark's. I was like, oh, that's cool. And when I was watching Mark's, he talked about how he had been a police officer before, and I was like, oh, no way, we have that in common. That's pretty cool. Well, Mark watched mine, and I didn't think to reach out to Mark, not anything against him. I just didn't think to network with him. Well, Mark, on the other hand, reached out to me. And I can't remember if it was through Facebook or if he asked Michael Zuber and he got my contact info. I don't remember. But he reached out and connected with me and said, hey man, I'm in law enforcement too. And in fact, I actually just retired out of his police department that he was working for. And he just wanted to chat. He wanted to talk. And at that time, I think he only had like, it might have been 3 or 4 rentals because this was like late 2018. I think he only had 3 or 4 rentals at the time. And for whatever reason, call it providence, you know, inspiration, God, fate, the universe, whatever, somehow we began a friendship. And he began to check in with me and say, hey, what are you doing? What are you up to? How are things going with your rentals? And I just had this one duplex. And I didn't even buy a second rental all the way until 2020 when I finally bought number 2. He was buying houses in Birmingham, Alabama, and then eventually he switched to the market in the Midwest where we now own a large majority of our portfolios. He was checking in with me. And he kept on sharing his success with me. This is what I'm doing. This is what I think is going to work. Here's my proof that it's working. What's your plans, Mike? What's your next step? And honestly, for a long time it was, well, I just got to save some money for another property. And I kept working on it. And I watched his success as he went from owning just a few rentals to owning 10, to owning 20, to now 25. And his obvious success with his stock investing and all the other things that he did. As he and I became friends, naturally you're going to take more of a little bit of a vested interest in someone's success, especially when he's giving me advice. Well, you want to see your advice play out and prove what your theory is, that if you follow the advice or the tips that I'm giving you, you'll be successful. And so always constantly checking in with me and making sure that I'm doing what I can. He hooked me up with the turnkey provider that I bought my second rental from. He recommended the property manager who now manages 3 of my properties and does a fantastic job. That property manager and Mark again helped me get my 3rd rental in the Midwest through seller financing. I would never have gotten that opportunity to pick up that house and hopefully my next one if it wasn't for the connection that I made from Mark and through his help. He helped me not get taken advantage of when I was doing the negotiating of seller financing. If you've seen that video, the individual who was selling it was trying to be a little quick and loose with some of the addendums inside the contract, and he told me, hey, keep an eye out for this, keep an eye out for this, inquire about this, save me some money, help me from not getting taken advantage of. Thank you, Mark.
Another happy landing.
The second rental that I bought, I found the real estate agent and I found that person. But again, that's still managed by the property manager that he recommended. The video that I decided to make on net worth, he's always tracking his net worth. He's always making sure that he's keeping tabs on his success and where he's going and where he's headed and where he's been. And it's wonderful to have to see someone else who's being successful and say to myself, I can do it too. There's no reason that I can't. You know, the old saying or the philosophy that you're going to be the most like the 5 people you spend the most time with. This kind of sounds a little bit odd. I know that I seem somewhat extroverted here on YouTube because I'm obviously making videos, but I guess I'm a little bit more of an introverted personality. I don't really spend that much time with friends. I don't like hang out with people. I have some childhood friends, my siblings, of course. But the people that I actually talk to on a daily basis the most, beyond the folks that I work with, are probably my real estate investing group. Caleb, Mark, and the other individuals within that group. And then I would say really, that's the interesting thing about podcasts and YouTube nowadays. I spend hours watching Michael Zuber, hours watching, back in the day, Graham Stephan and Meet Kevin, before they sold out to the YouTube gods and just started praising the holy algorithm, no offense, but I would spend so much time interacting with their content, which the beautiful thing about YouTube and that type of content is it's a very like intimate, you know, you and me, you the audience, and me, we can almost have a conversation, and really we can if you hit me up in my DMs or leave a comment down below. But the people, I'm looking at Graham Stephan, who's like 4 months older than me, and Meet Kevin, who's like a year younger than me, and Mark, who has the same job as me, and I'm looking at these people like there's no reason why I can't be like them. If I just follow an already established pattern of success, I just have to be disciplined, put the time in, put the effort in, and work, and I'm gonna make it. I will get there one day, and I'm happy to report that I'm well on my way. Michael Zuber always says, if you can just get to 4 rentals, it's gonna change your life. Well, I hit that 4 number last year in November. I have a duplex, 3 rentals in the Midwest. Trying to buy a 5th one right now, so hopefully I can keep that going forward. But for a lot of folks out there who say to themselves, well, I don't have any friends who are rich, I don't know anybody who's very successful, that's fine. You can get a virtual mentor for free on YouTube. There's so many people like me. I don't want to lose the soul for the reason that I made this channel. I was watching some of my first videos, my very first videos, which are just terribly filmed, garbage angles, grainy, no sound quality, horrible. Anyways, point is, the reason I started this channel was to sort of be a mentor to you. Now, I know that really doesn't make sense because I didn't have any experience, but I'd found that I had a skill. And the skill was I'm good at explaining things and breaking them down easy for regular people like me to understand. And I genuinely enjoy that. So I said to myself, how can I do that with my goal of being a real estate investor and hopefully one day real estate tycoon? Maybe I will do a live documented video series following the actual timeline it takes for a regular person with no college degree, no special education, no silver spoon in my mouth, who's been divorced, paid child support, every like disadvantage that you can think of except that I have my, you know, mental capabilities and I'm healthy, and I thank God for that. Can I be successful? And if so, I'm going to document it in real time so you don't have an excuse about why you can't do it. And also so that you can hopefully, and I truly mean this, hopefully be inspired to take action yourself and believe in yourself. You don't need some big multi-millionaire fancy mentor in Chris Crone or Grant Cardone or Ty Lopez or any of these other guys. It's not worth it. They're just selling you something. You can get so much value out of some small YouTubers, and this isn't supposed to be patting myself on the back, but some small YouTuber like Mark, who has 1 subscriber today, me, first subscriber, I beat everybody else. You can get so much value by watching that grainy video that's not professionally filmed because it's his first YouTube video ever. It's someone who will genuinely care about you. And I would encourage you to go find those people. You know, hopefully you feel like you can ask me questions. I'm happy to answer. And if I don't know, you know what I do? I send Mark a text message and say, hey, what do you think about this? And then I make a video about it and try to cite him in the video because, you know, it's his info. I want you to be successful. I truly want this channel to inspire people that they can be like me. My first video, I had no rentals. I was renting for $1,850 a month, renting just north of Seattle, a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath. I had $2,000 in the bank account because I had just been paid the day before, and all of that money was earmarked to get used on bills already. I had a net worth of $0. And today, if you watched my last video on net worth, $312,000 is my net worth. I control multiple properties, well over $500,000, coming up on $1 million worth of total assets that I control. And you can do it too. It's possible. I have 100% faith in you. It's not easy, but it's also not too hard. It's not complicated. It's not too hard if you can be diligent and you can be disciplined. Guys, I want this to be something that you can internalize. If you want to find a mentor, you have to prove that you're a hard worker, that you care, that you'll listen, that you're coachable, that you're dedicated, motivated, and you're ready to freaking go. Find that person, and it could just be something as simple as, hey man, I've gotten this far on my own, and I'm just asking people for help. Eventually, one of those people that you ask for help is going to be impressed by what you're doing, take a little bit of interest in you, and once they take that interest in you, well then your success is a direct reflection of them. They're bound by the laws of psychological, like, I don't know, whatever it is, they are now invested in you. And that's what you want to be successful. You need someone who genuinely cares about how you're doing. So please, take some action, network, don't make an excuse. Hit someone up in the comments of a YouTube video. Believe it or not, that's how a lot of people meet each other nowadays. I have faith in you. Guys, I hope this video was beneficial. If you liked it, please go ahead, like the video. It does help the algorithm. It will help my channel. And genuinely, I just want to help you and other people like you, because the poor and downtrodden lower class like us, you know, we've already got the freaking chips and the deck stacked against us. So we got to look out for each other. So why don't you look out for this channel and help a brother out. We'll catch you next time, guys. Thanks.
Hello there.
Oh, hi, Mark.